Hello, Divine Souls. Sorry, I had a bit of a technical difficulty. How are you today on this beautiful Friday? I just want to share my ocean with you here in Malibu. It's the most glorious, glorious day. And I wanted to talk to you about a very hot topic, which is numbness, when we numb ourselves from feeling. And let me tell you, I was doing that for too long when I was back in Australia in my 30s. I was not even aware on how bad my own numbness was. The reason for that was because I was seemingly in action. I was seeing kinesiologists, I was getting Reiki, I was seeing psychics, I was reading self-help books, and I really truly thought that I was like on my path and that things were unfolding for me. But the truth was I was outsourcing the work. I was feeling good in the moment when I'd have the healing sessions, but there was no lasting change. I would still go out and get hammered and drink far too much on my weekends and numb once again. Because to me, I was like, oh, this is when I can actually express myself. This is the wild child inside of me when I drink. And I was living like that from weekend to weekend with hangovers on every single Sunday, popping Nurophens. It was just like a thing. I didn't even question the fact that I'm having Nurofen every Sunday. It's shocking, how we can get into these cycles. And it wasn't until one day that I saw a photo of myself on Facebook at a friend's 30th birthday. I was all dressed up and my eyes were dead. And I burst out crying. And I was looking back at that picture of myself going, who is that woman? That is not Lucy. Who the hell is that woman? And what am I doing with my life right now? And when I stopped and looked around, I was in a job that was not in alignment with my greatness. I was dating guys that were certainly not the sort of guy that I should be dating. They were attractive and saying all the right things, but they weren't living on purpose. They weren't treating me like a queen because I wasn't treating myself like a queen. I was living in an illusion. And the worst part about it was that I actually thought that I was doing all the right things. So this topic of numbness is you can be, numbing by eating, you can be numbing with alcohol, numbing by just not getting out of bed. You can actually exercise your head off and numb that way as well. By staying busy, we numb because we don't have to stop and feel. And the reason you don't want to stop and feel is because there's too much. And you're scared that if you let in just a tiny bit, that your whole world will come crashing down. But actually, it's the opposite. And, I want to speak about as well, like the medical system. Antidepressants absolutely have their place. There is a time where it can be a very powerful move for you to actually go and get yourself onto antidepressants. But my strong opinion is that most people don't actually need them. Because what you're doing is you're going to the doctor and you're sharing what your symptoms are, and then they're just prescribing you, hey, go on these antidepressants, this will help you. I remember when I had anxiety doing my one-woman show, the doctor couldn't get them to me quick enough because I was panicky. I was actually a little bit depressed because I was being pushed so hard by my coach. And he was just like, here you go, and just gave me all this Xanax. And I was like, I'm not taking that. And I had people at the restaurant I was working at that were like, oh my God, I'll take them. But I was shocked. I was like, you don't know, you haven't gone deep with me. You've literally just prescribed me medication. That is not healing the issue. That was not healing the issue for me at all. So I'm inviting you to look at what you're putting in place right now for your own path, your own healing, your own journey, and to start questioning those things and going, is this really helping me? Is this therapy actually helping me? And if it is, go sister, I'm not saying there is one size fits all for everyone, and I'm saying there is a place for therapy and there is a place for antidepressants. But what I have learned in the work that I've been doing and the transformations I've been helping women achieve is that so many of my women have done therapy. Like pretty much every woman that comes to me has done therapy either for a year, or some women have done it for 15 years and they were not getting tangible change. They were not shifting their worldview. They were not shifting the deep beliefs. They were not shifting that deep trauma through just talking about it. So it's extremely important to have this conversation with you to say that you've got to question when someone just prescribes something to you or tells you go do this. You've actually got to stop and go, does that feel good for me? is that really going to help me get to where I want to go? Because just talking about stuff is not enough. That's why there's a big gap in the system right now. Just talking about your issues and bringing up the past is not going to change anything. It requires building a brand new mindset. It requires feeling deeply those things from the past, but then also learning how to shift those out of your DNA, out of you at a cellular level, so that you're able to create something new for yourself. And this also is around identity, because the way that you've been seeing yourself, the way that I was seeing myself in the world was, it was very different to what was going on. I was like, I'm a good catch. I'm doing all these things. I'm authentic. And yet it wasn't until I had my wake up call where I was like, fuck, I'm none of those things. I'm treating myself appallingly. I have no boundaries. I'm going out and getting blind drunk all the time. I'm numbing the fuck out of myself. I'm keeping so busy that I don't have to actually feel. And I'm tolerating these dead shit relationships. So I was like, oh my God, this was all going on. And I never stopped once to question it until I did. And from that moment on, my entire life changed. I realized that I wasn't personally co-creating with the work. I was outsourcing it.
About reframing my identity.
So I had to really commit and go, Lucy, where do you actually want to be in your life? Who is the woman that you want to be in the world? And I help women with this all the time. We've got to actually get you home to the woman that you were born to be. And that requires building a new foundation, a new identity. And then you can live into that identity of the type of woman that is going to get married, that is going to follow through on her purpose, right? So it's a really big conversation. It's a very important conversation. And if you're feeling triggered, that just means there's something for you to look at, because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm having a very bold conversation to share with you from my experience what I see in the world. There is a huge gaping hole in the way that people are being supported at the moment, and it's not deep enough. Yeah, I believe that every single one of us is whole. No one is broken. We don't need to be fixed. But do we need to be supported and have our pieces put back together again? Abso-fucking-lutely. I wouldn't be where I am without getting the right support. There is no way, because I was going down a path of that was the thing, is I really thought that I was good. And thank God I had my wake-up call. And it's not like a Hollywood moment that everyone has this particular wake-up call moment, but I really did. It happened for me over 2 days where I couldn't stop crying when I stopped to look at my life and who I was being in the world. And it was not congruent with my soul and the gifts that I was given. And I knew that something needed to change, and it needed to change really fucking quickly. So I was glad that I actually was able to stop and let myself drop into my own sadness, into my own not enoughness, and to go, hang on a minute, I can't just keep going along this path. I have to fucking put a stake in the ground and do whatever it's going to take to shift onto my true path, so that I can be the woman that I was born to be in this world, instead of kind of one day, maybe when. That was really what happened for me. So, oh, that's nice, pair of underpants on the ground. Lovely. So I'd love to hear from you, your comments below on what this is, saying for you, how this is resonating with you. Because really, this is a conversation that is a co-creation. It's a back and forth. And I want you to know that my team and I are helping women just like you change exponentially on a soul level every day. But it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not a process that we are going to do for you. It's a process that works. If you're committed and you're willing to show up for yourself and do the program as it's designed, you will completely shift paths. You will change your life, and you will start to attract in a completely different caliber of man. And not only that, the way we show up one way is how we show up every way. So you will also start to up-level your friendships. You'll start to up-level the relationship with your family. You'll up-level your health. You'll up-level your bank account, because you're shifting into a completely different version of you, the you that you've been missing up until now. Because for me, when I got clear on, oh my God, how far out of alignment I was like, I've actually abandoned myself a long time ago. Because there's a little girl I felt abandoned. And then I abandoned myself, and I was living at this much of my potential. So of course I wasn't attracting the right guys, and of course I wasn't living on purpose because I had settled. I was like, well, this is enough. I don't need to go and do big things. I don't need to take these huge risks. I'll just do what I know. And that was what was killing me softly. So big love to you girls, and know that their support is always there when you are ready. As they say, the teacher arrives when the student is ready. And so you're not in this community by a fluke. You found yourself in this community for a reason. Something drew you to this community, and there are messages here for you. So I invite you to watch my free masterclass if you haven't already. Go and watch all the other lives. And if you feel the alignment and the resonance, then book a call and let's see if we can help you. All right? I'm sending you so much love from Malibu. Mwah, big kiss. You're here to do really big things. You deserve love, and having a soulmate relationship is your birthright. But it's not going to happen to you. You've got to get into action and get into alignment with yourself so that you can receive your match, because we're all energy and we attract in who we are. And that was very confronting to me when someone said to me, well, Lucy, we attract who we are. And as I was having my wake-up call, I was like, well, that's a fucking worry, because I don't want to attract in someone like me right now. Yet I had my big shiny vision board, with all the things I wanted, but I wasn't being that. I was full of shit and waiting to be rescued. And there's nothing powerful about that. And you have power living inside of you right now, waiting to be activated. You've got that divine feminine waiting to be activated. Your feminine power is the most powerful thing that you own. It's about allowing, receiving, deep trust, self-worth,